Okay, so with the world premiere of Awaydays this evening as part of Liverpool Sound City, it wouldn't be right not to meet you gentlemen, would it? The creator, of course, of the book and the screenplay is Kevin here, and of course
Hello.
we've got David with us as well. Fellas, thank you for getting involved in VIY. It's all about doing it yourself here at Liverpool Sound City. Kevin, can you tell us a little bit about the film? Because, of course, you wrote it and then you wrote the screenplay.
Yeah. Well, in fact, it is a very DIY film because Dave and I are the film production company as well as being the producer and the writer. We actually raised the finance and got the whole thing off the ground ourselves as well. So the DIY theme couldn't fit in more perfectly than it does. So in short, it's the story of two guys, Paul Carty and a very enigmatic soul called Elvis, and they're from opposite sides of the track really. Essentially they both want what each other has got, and Carty in particular badly wants to belong to this mob of very androgynously dressed football hooligans called the Pack, of which Elvis is a leading light. Elvis, however, is tired of the whole thing and sees it for what it is, and he's much more interested in the great horizons of European travel, very inspired by Bowie's Berlin albums, and that's what he wants to do. He wants to get off on just hitchhike his way across Europe and go to Berlin. He sees Carty as his soul brother who's going to do that with him. So the story really is all about their relationship and the balance of power and the way that plays out. Elvis has got a very, very dark side, and he struggles with his demons. He's fighting a growing sort of heroin addiction. He's also suppressing homosexual urges, and he has bouts of severe depression. And we've played out those scenes to try and get inside his head. We've played them out against this quite sort of surreal kind of glitter wall, as a backdrop. So that's supposed to symbolise his the sort of journeys and Awaydays he goes on in his head, where he's trying to get to grips with who he is, and ultimately, that is his struggle. That's his metaphor in the film, is that he's a teenage kid trying to find his own voice, trying to find where he belongs, and what his future and his destiny is going to be. And those are all of the things that we attempt, at least, to confront in the film, and some of the stuff that's thrown up by it.
Yeah, and or identity. I mean, fashion and music are featured, quite heavily within the film and stuff. And I know, David, you played quite a part with the music part of the film, didn't you?
Yeah, I was. My background is a film composer, and I was attached to Awaydays with a few other companies that had optioned it. I actually known Kevin since I was a teenager. Around the same time, we went to the same clubs and stuff. So I'd always loved the book, and I was, really upset when it didn't get off the ground as fast as it could have. So, there was a point where Kevin and I sat down and said, actually, if it's going to get made, we'll have to do it, So we sort of, foolhardily, just decided to go for it. And, we didn't know how hard it was, so that made it easy in a certain way. And we just went for it. And staggeringly enough, because there are a lot of fans of the book around, it wasn't that hard to raise the finance, and it was on. Strangely enough, pretty quickly it was on, and we had a very quick window to get everything together. Needed a bit of luck finding the great cast and everything, but loads of things fell into place, and it was a goer.
I've been on the website, and in the descriptions that you guys give about the clothes and the music are brilliant. But your journey resonates with so much about what Calm as a charity represent and the journey of young men. I've got a quote here that I took from the website that I wanted to discuss with you. Actually, it says, "Rejection is one of the most powerful motives in creation."
Well, or it should be. There's two ways that you can respond to that. You can be crushed. You can take that rejection as being ultimate and final, and you can walk away, or you can use it as inspiration. And many is the football manager who will pin up the words of an opposing manager on the dressing room wall and use that to motivate his team. And certainly, from with myself and with Dave, there was a thing of, we'll show you. Nobody knows whether they're right or wrong. There is no right and wrong when it comes to art. There's things that people like, there's things that people don't like. But we were certainly inspired by what we were doing, and we felt that the project that we had was a worthwhile project, and we weren't going to just lie down and take this rejection as being final. We used it as as a positive form of madness in a way. We became inspired by it, and rather than walking away from it, went and embraced it and took the challenge on, and here we have it. For better or for worse, it's going to be out there.
It's happening. How are you guys feeling? Because it is a huge journey. I mean, the book was written in 1982. So it's, all these years later, it's now the world premiere. I mean, can you put those emotions into words at all, Rosie?
I'm shitting it.
There you go. I mean, I spoke to the guys earlier. I spoke to Nick and Liam about how they're dealing with their nerves for this evening, because, of course, it's a big moment for them in their careers as well. I mean, they gave me their tips. I'm not going to tell you, because we might get them in trouble, what they're planning to do to keep the nerves at bay. But what you fellas are going to do to cope?
I'm going into denial. It's happening. I'm going to go so insular into a shell just for a bit, and then I'm going to just look at Kev's face towards the end of the evening, see if it went down okay. And then I'll deal with it.
Deal with it later.
Yeah.
You were saying that you've known each other quite a while. You kind of grew up together. I mean, finding your identity as a young man, it's a core feature in the film, and it's something that you deal with a lot in your work. I mean, is there any kind of words of wisdom that you've got as, men of wisdom to any of the young lads out there that are kind of possibly going through some of the situations that you've written about and coped with within the book and the film? Woo! We're live, you can tell, can't you?
You are not alone. I think that's in those situations when things do feel really bleak and it seems as though the cards are stacked against you. I've always taken a little bit of succor from the realization that anything that one person is experiencing and going through has already been done, last week, last year, 10 years ago, 100 years ago. These are just human emotions, the universal experiences that everybody goes through. And it's just a case of riding it out and trying to draw some kind of inspiration from it, I mean, I must admit, even when it comes to music, I'm quite attracted to the melancholy and the dark side, and I find it interesting to investigate those underbellies. And I would just say to anybody who's feeling as though they're not getting the breaks, they're getting a rough deal, that everybody's been there. It's not a unique thing, and you've just got to think about the positives. Just go for it. Is my message.
Go for it. David, music. Obviously, you're a music kind of maestro. Really, you've done a bit of everything. We are at Liverpool Sound City. Got a lot of new musicians out there. This man is so popular today. Anyone would think you've got a world premiere.
Yeah.
Do you need to take that call?
No, I don't.
Oh, you're okay. Okay.
It's a new phone. I'll switch it off.
Brilliant. Any words of wisdom really to those kind of young kids that are out there today at the festival? They're going to be maybe coming to the premiere or actually going to the gigs, standing there, wanting to be there on that stage, wanting to write the film scores, wanting to choose the music.
Well, I think greatest advice I can give is always do your own thing. There's you can be seduced by the glamour of someone doing something that seems a quicker way to the top, but never go for that, because you'll lose whatever chance you've got of creating your own little thing. And it's hard to look into yourself and do the introspective type work, but that's the quality that in the end will give you a pretty a longevity and a fighting chance.
Brilliant. Well, I always say it's the journey that creates the dream, and you have had one hell of a journey getting this to tonight, the world premiere. I wish you the very best of luck, and I think that we're going to see lots from you guys in the future, even more over the next couple of months.
Group hug.
Kevin Sampson, everybody, and David Hughes. Woo!